Picture this, it's post-war Japan. You're an artist, you're a free spirit. You ride your motorcycle out into the countryside to get some R&R, to paint some mountains. These yokel farmers, they wouldn't know art if it smacked them in the face, but you're onto something, you're going places. Next thing you know, some dame with a spit curl and a voice like an angel comes waltzing up the path. She's headed toward the same little countryside inn you are, so what the hell, you give her a ride. Now this dame, it turns out those pipes ain't just for show. Turns out she's a real famous singer. You and her, you hit it off. There's a spark there. You have a friendly chat with her up in her room. Nothing serious, mind you, all on the level. Little do you know, however, the paparazzo are hiding just outside, watching. They snap a picture of the two of you together in your bathrobes, and before you know it, there's a scandal. A lot has been made of Kurosawa being a more Western-influenced Japanese director, but Scandal to me stands out as his most overt example. At times the movie seems to take on the tone of a Frank Capra film. I had seen Scandal many years before, but forgotten most of it, so maybe it was just a kind of unconscious recollection, but about halfway through the movie I said to myself, you know what, this feels a lot like a Christmas movie. And then, lo and behold,
Merry Christmas.
First it's Christmas, then later Toshirō Mifune and his bohemian friends are getting drunk and singing Auld Lang Syne. I think Kurosawa had a strange early career. At the height of World War II, the Japanese censors had him making essentially propaganda films, while after the war, occupying forces were averse to anything too explicitly Japanese or too undemocratic. Kurosawa, by his own account, preferred what he saw as the less stringent brand of occupation censorship, but even still, I can't help but think some of his early post-war films might be just as compromised as those made during the war. Kurosawa in his early career strikes me as an artist who goes wherever the wind blows. He reminds me of artists and filmmakers operating in the cultural revolution of today, who, out of nowhere, seem to have discovered a sudden full-throated devotion to diversity, equity, and inclusion. At the same time, one might argue that Kurosawa in Scandal is trying to negotiate a compromise between the pre- and post-war Japan. After the paparazzi snap their photograph, they publish an article claiming the bohemian painter and the more private, reserved singer have entered into a torrid love affair, to which they respond with a lawsuit. The newspaper, despite knowingly publishing something they were never sure was true in the first place, hides behind a freedom of the press, only recently imported from America, implying a double-edged sword to Japan's burgeoning liberalism. The movie also veers away from that Capraesque sensibility by leaving certain Hollywood tropes or expectations unfulfilled. What seems at first to be a budding love story between the painter and the singer doesn't really go anywhere. When the singer is hesitant at first to get wrapped up in a court case against the tabloid, I thought for sure it was because she was in love with the painter, meaning it might invalidate the lawsuit. That's just the sort of thing you might expect in a Hollywood screwball comedy, but no, it never happens, even though part of me wishes it did. You could take that as Kurosawa going for something more mature, or you could take it as a 1940s Japanese reserve about sex and romance on film. It does kind of make it feel like there's something missing, though. I want to pause this video a moment to let the audience know there's a fly buzzing around me. There's a fly that's driving me slightly insane as it interrupts this recording of Scandal by Akira Kurosawa. Then again, the real emotional heart of the film isn't the aggrieved painter or singer, but their lawyer, played by Takashi Shimura. Shimura plays the archetypical romantic scoundrel. He drinks, he gambles, he lies and takes advantage of his clients, but he loves his ailing daughter and at the end of the film ultimately rises to the occasion to do the right thing. It's always impressive what range Shimura has between each of Kurosawa's films. A feeble old man on the verge of death in Ikiru, then a moral and physical stalwart 2 years later in Seven Samurai. It's that range which enables him to convincingly play the lawyer in Scandal, a man racked by inner conflict, a man thoughtful yet unscrupulous, What? It's that range which enables him to convincingly play the lawyer in Scandal, a man racked by inner conflict, a man thoughtful yet unscrupulous, bumbling yet canny, heroic yet pitiable. It's through him the movie makes the point that it's not the letter of the law that determines justice, but the men and women entrusted to guide the law towards its fullest potential. While maybe not quite as distinct or as memorable as some of his other works, Scandal still shows a director beginning to hit his stride, navigating a culture going through monumental change and inevitably coming out the other side to establish his own singular artistic voice.